On into position. Take your wardrobe. Settle, please. Camera ready? Okay, let's roll camera, please.
All right, Susan.
Playback.
I'm here.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
As ready as we're going to be?
Yeah.
All right.
Friday
Welcome
morning.
to the Good Morning Show.
Yeah.
How are you today, Miss
Good.
Susan?
We're having a little teeny echo, or is that my imagination?
I think that's probably actually happening because it's Friday, and you know what happens on Friday.
Everything goes wrong.
Everything goes wrong on Friday from a technical standpoint.
Right.
So I'm going to work on that while you tell us what we're going to be doing today, because this is you didn't tease this on Monday, did you? You were going to come up with this
Well,
on the
actually,
fly.
Monday I did remember I did the sashing part on it?
That's right.
So Monday we showed 2 rows. But now I'm going to hold it up. It's not all the way sashed, but we've got pieces all together. So we had just 2 rows, and I showed you how to mark the rows and put the sash between them. Well, I did the one side piece at the shop, and we have the other side waiting for us. So I'm going to show you what we have done for the side pieces is we measure the quilt top to bottom, both sides and the middle, and we take an average.
Okay.
Okay? And the average came out 68. So the average for this side here, and I believe this side was a little bit bigger. But the average is 68, so we cut us a 68-inch piece. And the first step, just go ahead and sit down so you may be over there and the camera can see it better. Whoop, gotta get the right corner. Corner to corner. Let me put this down here so we can see this edge better. And we are going to divide it into, depending on how big your quilt is, I'm going to go ahead and divide it into 8 pieces. And we just put a pin in. So this is 1, so that's half. And this here, that's in a quarter there. And we're just putting a pin in. Go up here close, and I'll show you how I'm putting the pin in. That's where the fold is, where our measurement is, and I'm just sticking a pin in right where the measurement is at. And this is close enough. I don't think we need to go into 8s because it's only that far. So we got that.
Okay.
And then we're going to do the piece that we're putting on and do the same pins. So, in half. And this is true patchwork quilting. I don't know if you see all the seams on this piece, but
Well, I was going to ask you about that.
somebody ran out of fabric.
Yeah, I was going to say it looked like those had been
So
sewn
in
together.
order to do the TV show, I went ahead and put the pieces together that I could find, but this particular color in the shop, somebody bought all of it the day before yesterday, and I did not realize that there wasn't not enough for this quilt. So we just came up with the scraps we could, and it'll work just fine. After all, isn't it patchwork quilt? And that's originally where all the quilts were made, and they've had more piecing than this. There we go. There's the pins out of the way. So we have the pieces, and we need to find the right side together. So we're going to match the end. and pin it. And make sure you got your sashing turned right side together with the quilt. And as you can see, this is a little bit bigger.
Mm-hmm.
We're just going to move this over here and pin it exactly where it needs to be. And what we will do is it's called easing it in. And so this piece of this piece, I'll kind of just hold it tight till this piece matches, and we'll pin it so there'll be just a little bit of easing in. I don't know if you can see on close up here. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And when you go like that and sew, it'll lay flat, and it'll just ease it in a little bit.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's how you get your quilt closer to being square, even though, you know, there's hundreds of seams in here, and this quilt actually was made by a whole bunch of different people because each square is made by a different person. I had to tweak a few of them to make them 12 inch finished, 12 and a half inch. And some of them gave me plenty to work with. Some were way too little. I had to do quite a bit of tweaking on a couple of them. But once I get this pinned, let's see, we've got the same amount, just about the same amount of easing on this one, see?
Right.
So if you have your quarters or your eighths, if it's a bigger quilt, just divide it into eighths, and you could have done these into eighths, and then you ease your pieces in. And I'll get this over here. Get this pinned real quick. And you got your easing in here. You could go through the part of measuring each square, and you know they're 12 inches, and putting a mark at 12 inches and then 2 inches and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that it's just as easy and just as effective to just divide the whole thing into pieces.
Okay.
But if you went and put a pencil mark at 12 inches and then 2 inches for the sash, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's just as easy to pin this. So we've got this ready, and we could sew it, and we'd have the other side sash on. But we've got it pinned, ready to go to the sewing machine. And that's how you get the side sash, the top sashes, and the borders. Now, I'm going to go to the other side over here that's already sewn. And we are going, I didn't bring all my border pieces. I just brought enough so we can see the corner.
Okay.
Let me see if this corner, there we go. This one's laying a little bit better. Of course, I got a thread here. There we go. So what I have done, I've got the rest of my pieces at the shop for the border, so I don't have like a full length either way, but we're doing a stripe,
Okay. For your border.
and we're gonna do a mitered corner. And most of the time when you say mitered corner, everybody goes, I don't want to do mitered corners. Well, I've got my miter already done for this one side. So here's the miter.
And could you explain why people react that way?
Because it's hard to get it to match.
Okay.
It's hard to get it to lay flat. But what I did, and if I had finished my sides, one of these would be 58 inches long for the short side, and the other would be 72 this way.
Right.
From this corner right here that goes closest to the piece. But what I did when I was at the shop is I cut each piece 45-degree angle,
Mm-hmm.
and I went ahead and sewed them together with a 1/4-inch seam. And now are we here where is that good right here?
Yep.
And what we did, my little mark is, can you see the little pin mark? Ink pen?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a 1/4 inch from this edge and this edge. Are you seeing that?
Yeah.
So that's a 1/4 inch here, and that's a 1/4 inch here. And that's where you start at when you're doing miter corners. So you leave that open here because you're going to sew this to one edge of your quilt, and you're going to sew this to the other edge of the quilt. And this is probably where the biggest problem with the mitered corner that people have is they forget to leave this, and they run it all the way, and then they try to figure out how to sew it when you've got this extra stitches here in the way. But I just sewed a 1/4 inch seam all the way to the edge, and I pressed it open. This is how it looks from the front. And if you were OCD or whatever and you wanted to match, you could match, or if you had a more regular stripe, you could match these. Like I could have cut completely different, and it would have wasted a whole lot of fabric
Yeah.
to cut it different and make sure that and that and that matches. I just decided we're going to do mitered corner. We're just going to have a little fun here with the stripes. But this is how it's going to look when each corner will look when you're done, is when it's sewed on here. It'll look like this.
And generally, how much space do you want to leave for when you put your corner on there and actually sew it on there to your border? Is there any technique to that, or
As far as space right here,
right when you sew it to the pink, right there? Like, is there a distance? Yeah.
well, you just, okay, I was fixing to show you how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. You find your 1/4 inch here and here.
Okay. So it has to match up there.
It matches up here. And what you do is you go in your 1/4 inch in. Am I in the close-up good?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to match. You could put you a dot here, a 1/4 inch in from here, and a 1/4 inch in from here, and match these two dots. You following me?
Mm-hmm.
The dot on the border and the dot on the quilt. And they're just going to, I'm going to pretend this is a stitch this way. You're going to sew this whole edge, and of course you go and you'll measure this whole piece. So if you had your 58-inch piece here, you would divide it into 1/4s or 1/8s and pin it all the way. And the other end you would have, so the 58 inches would be, or whatever your quilt measures, it would be this edge all the way to the other end.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have a mitered corner out from that. So you'd go to 58 inches and then cut your other 45-degree angle.
Right. And then just.
And that's another thing people have a problem is they accidentally cut the miter the wrong direction.
Right.
But you lay it down and look at it before you cut your second, your other miter.
I was gonna say you can't do all the sections all at once.
Right. I usually
have to
do
wait
this
till you actually
and
put
then,
it on the
then
quilt.
find my 58-inch here and pin it part way just to make sure that I'm cutting the miter the right direction.
Right.
I mean, if you get really good and you do it all the time, I've known some people that just kind of whack and put them together, and I don't know how they do it because I'm afraid I'd cut my miter the wrong direction.
Right.
But let me pretend sew this other direction here. Of course, it's not going to lay quite as good because we got the heads of the pins. Let me get a smaller head pin here. And this is a 1/4 inch here and here. And you wouldn't sew all the way across the corner. You would start your stitching right here. So you would just sew all the other way, that direction, all the way down to the other end. And when you've got it done, and see how smooth it is, even with it just being pins rather than stitching in here?
Yes.
Because that's the hardest thing is people get puckers right there. Because they don't match it quite good. So the best thing is to put your pin mark. Some
Right.
people don't ever like to pin things and secure it before they sew, but it's a good idea to do.
Because you have a lot of intersecting pieces here, so
Right.
you do want to make sure that it doesn't
And
get
it will
stuck.
be very obvious if you have a pucker right here.
Right.
And like I said, we could have finagled around. Let me see this one. So we got the 45-degree. If I had wanted to, finagle around and cut, and figure out where I'm going to cut.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got this turned the other way.
Oh, to try to match them?
To match them. You can do that. It just takes, you got to plan when you get fabric. If you've got to match them, actually turn it this way, and I think it will. So you can finagle it around so you can match your.
Right.
So it'd be a little bit more this way and this way.
I could see how this would take some time to figure out.
Yeah,
And you'd have to really be exact.
This you would end up using more fabric, and I may go back and do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it can be done fairly easy. I just find my 45-degree angle, and I think this morning what I did was I accidentally turned this the wrong direction. But I can do that, and you can get your 45-degree angle to match, and you can have a interesting corner here
Yeah.
instead of just thrown together. I think I'll go back and fix it.
I would say stripes are probably the hardest to work with when you're doing that because of how
Stripes
exact you really need to
or-
be.
Yeah, sometimes plaids. Plaids are probably worse than stripes because you got both directions to try to work with.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Chevrons. And chevrons are fun when you have a big long border and you don't have enough to go all the way in the border with the chevron.
Mm-hmm.
Usually on the chevron, I'll try to cut the whole long piece on the sides. But if you want the chevrons to go the same direction, your fabric's only 45 wide, so you usually have to put a seam somewhere in the top and the bottom border. And you've got to try to match it so you don't see it. See where they match. See where the chevrons are meeting. And the same goes for stripes too.
Right.
So
Okay.
these stripes are this way. So when we sew them this way, it won't be as obvious. But if they were two different directions, it'd be more obvious.
Right. Okay. Cool. And when do you think that this project will be done? If you had to put a
I
date on
will
it.
have it ready to go to the quilter next week, and I don't know what her schedule is. This is actually, what we did is we actually had 19 people. One person dropped out, but we had 19 people, and then one person went to heaven. And we actually finished up blocks for her. This quilt is going to her daughter. So this is a block that somebody made for the girl that the quilt's going to the daughter. And I just threw an extra block in here. Forget where my extra block went. But I have room on my extra block for some other girls that knew the lady that are going to sign it. So the daughters can have their signatures. And I know it's in here because I put it in here. Oh, here it is. So we have room on this block for some signatures.
Oh, cool.
And this will go to the quilter next week, and I don't know how long she'll have. But actually, I've got to order the pink fabric first, so that's going to be the delay. But we'll have people sign this, and I don't know when it'll be done, but we'll bring it back in and show the finished project before it goes to the daughter.
That'd be cool.
Maybe I'll talk the daughter into coming in and
Yeah.
TV. I don't know if or not. She's still kind of heartbroken. It was
understand.
about a year ago. This block trade, friendship block trade, because see, everybody put their names on them. Can you see the
Let me see.
name
Yes.
there? Or do I need to go on to the close
We'll,
up?
we'll put it down there on the close-up just...
See, this they put a embroidered name,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a couple here that signed it. There's one that signed it with fabric ink.
Nice.
And so each one of these are signed with the person who made the block.
Very nice.
So it's a fun thing to do. And we do trade. We usually the group in the shops usually involved at least one trade a year.
Okay.
So right now they're doing a different one.
Oh, really?
Different rules,
Right.
if you say rules, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Very cool.
So-
Well, thank you, Susan, for coming in today, even though it was Friday and, we have our technical difficulties getting started, but that's okay. We're par for the course, I would
We're
say.
being consistent.
We are incredibly consistent on Fridays with something messing up, so. But, hey, we got it back on the road, so we're good to go. And just let folks know if they want to stop by and get some individual personal instruction, or maybe take some classes, or pick up some fabric or some supplies that they would need to put together their quilt. Do you want to kind of tell them about your store and where you're located?
Well, we're on 219 First Street Northeast. That's Cleveland, Tennessee. We're across from the museum.
Mm-hmm.
And next to the bike shop and behind Catch and 2 blocks east of the courthouse.
Yep.
Yeah, right in the middle of everything that's happening downtown, actually.
Yep.
We actually don't have an activity this Saturday
Okay.
because this is the 4th Saturday, and there's not always anything 4th or 5th Saturday. Next month, there's a quilt show in Ringgold.
That's right. This is at the depot, right?
At the depot down there. I am working on getting a hand embroidery girl to come in to teach a class from Sulky Threads.
Okay, cool.
I've got another guy I'm working on that does these really geometric whatevers, and I've already mentioned about him coming on to the TV maybe, so I don't know. He didn't sound like he was totally camera shy. Actually, he's very vivacious and puts me to shame as far as being excited about color and shapes and stuff. And we're working on getting him to come for a class.
Okay.
He lives in the Atlanta area, but
Okay.
he is internationally known,
Nice.
and he does some geometric stuff. And I don't know when we'll get the 2 of them this way, because we're trying to get the calendar not packed so full that you can't get to everything you want to, but
Right.
Enough stuff. The next activity coming up is Tuesday,
Okay.
and it's the cabin block of the month. And
Okay.
that's the one where we have all the cabins.
Right.
It's on the wall in the classroom, and you can join at any time because there's 36 blocks, and we are just starting over on. We're on like, so what is this? A 6th month, 7th month? We're on the 7th month of the first year go around. So you've got plenty of time to learn the cabin block, and once you learn it, you can learn how to do each of the inserts, and so you could take a few classes or just come with us and do the whole journey.
That'd be cool. Very cool. Well, and we will go ahead and kick it back to Coffee Country and Cody on Heartland. But before we do that, I'll show you Susan's store. We're going to play her commercial here. And thank you again, Susan. I hope you have a very good weekend. And folks out there, we will see you next time. Hope you have a really great weekend. Bye-bye.
Quilts and the art of quilting have been enjoyed for generations. Hyderhangout, quilt fabric and more in downtown Cleveland is all things quilts and much more. Hyderhangout stocks a vast selection of beautiful fabrics from upholstery to evening wear and will special order hard-to-find items. Find all the accessories to make any project fun and easy. Hyderhangout offers expert instruction with classes for the beginner and the advanced. Ready to show your style? Get to Hyderhangout Quilt Fabric and More, 219 First Street Northeast, downtown Cleveland.